pre-punch your holes from. Next, scribe your eye patches in the same manner, pulling your compass towards you. Mark both eye patches as shown. Then you will want to use your tracing wheel. Start down in the corner of your eye panel and following your scribed line, roll your tracing wheel up and around your eye panel, and with your finger roll your eye patch around to follow the tracing wheel. We will only be using this on the eye panels and the base of the centerpiece. These are your marks where your pre-punched holes will be. The only reason we mark the bottom of the centerpiece is this is where you will stitch your neck piece on. This is a needle for your pre-punched holes for lacing. This is the tool I use. Align the two pieces, your eye patch and your centerpiece, directly in line at the base, using the bottom scribe line. Using the back of your hole punch needle, you will scribe these lines parallel with one another, coming across from your centerpiece to the dots that were made from your tracing wheel. Now you will be rotating your eye panel along the edge of your centerpiece. As you move it, where the material comes together gives you the point of where you want to scribe your line from the centerpiece to the eyepiece. As you work up around the eyepiece, these lines will become more open on the centerpiece. That is why you don't pre-mark any holes on your centerpiece. As you roll it around and you start working down the back side, these will become more parallel again. You want to be firm with holding these pieces together so you have a perfect alignment and you end up with an even hood. When you end up at the base, you will end up with a line directly across from your bottom scribe line on your eye panel. Next, we will start punching your pre-punched holes. Using the pre-punched needle, stick it in the marked hole and follow the guideline. This line tells you in which direction to push your needle. You want a firm surface to work on. I use my left index finger. Slide your needle to where it comes out about 3/4 of the way through the thickness of the material, or just under the outer surface. You don't want to break that outer surface. then use your marks that you have made. That's what they're there for, as guidelines. This takes a lot of practice, but let the needle do the work. If you just poke it in and push, it should come out the same depth time after time. And that's what's important. You want the same depth of these holes. Then just follow your guidelines around and punch each and every hole. Occasionally you'll want to dip your needle in wax. This helps you slide your needle through the material easier. Starting in the corner of your centerpiece at the base, you want to punch your hole slightly inward toward the edge. This gives you a better stitch when you go to sew your neck piece on. Then, following the contour of the base of the neck, go ahead and use the marks and punch your holes. This is where you'll sew your neck piece or piping on. Notice how I'm working the leather with my fingers as I'm punching the holes. This is a straight needle as compared to the curved needle that I used. It is actually a dental pick. This is also used for hole punching. The other needle, with the straight shaft, is a little harder to work with. That's why I cut it off at the base and I put it in this little handle. It's much easier to work with. Here we are pre-punching the holes in the bottom of the eye panel for your neck piece. You want to punch that first hole inward toward where it joins the centerpiece. Following the contour of the base of the eyepiece, poking in and pushing straight out, following that bend. You're following your guidelines and pushing all the way across the base of the neck piece. You want to follow your guidelines and being consistent with punching your holes. Here it shows a consistency of the holes punched in the centerpiece. This is how your two pieces should line up with your guidelines and your holes punched. You'll notice at the top of the hood where they open up and become wider, but they're consistent all the way around and down the back. Next we have the needles in a cake of wax and beading thread that we'll be using. These needles are a size 7 quilting needle. I like these needles because they're stout and the head is the same diameter as the shaft. This is a spool of beading thread, size D. This is what we use. You can get it at Tandy Leather or a craft house.